All rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Alvarez.
Present.
Councilman Cypress.
Here.
Councilman Larker.
Here.
Councilman O'Connor. Absent. Supervisor Hay.
Here, notation exits in the front and the rear, an electronic device. Please put it on vibrate. Work session, make a motion to go into the work session.
Second.
All in favor?
Do we close the executive session?
No, we didn't. Okay. Okay, I make a motion to come out of the executive session. No action was taken.
Second.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we're in the work session. Okay. Update from the Highway Department. Mike?
Well, we didn't have much of a winter, but we did have a very productive winter for work. We've done about a little over 2,000 feet of drainage replacement up in Brewster Heights, which has been it's been a big problem up there for many years. We're, well on our way to getting that taken care of. Right now, I'm still assessing the condition of the roads to determine which roads are going to be paved this year. We got our, going to be doing our paving schedule pretty soon. And trees, we've been aggressively getting a lot of the trees that Nelson has gone through, and they just cleared, around the power lines. We've gone back and we've taken trees out that are, that we know are end up being a threat eventually. So we've been doing that for the last month and a half, and it's really made a difference. So then on the agenda right now is we have to do all the pipe replacement on Minor Road. All the pipes on Minor Road there's over 1,500 feet of pipe there that's all rotten metal pipe that has to be replaced. So we're putting that on the schedule for this spring. And then we'll be paving Minor Road next year. We'll get the drainage done this year, and then that'll get repaved next year. Same with Route 6, old Route 6. We're going to be doing some adding some drainage over there. And then hopefully we'll get that on the schedule for next year to pave that also. Cobb Road, that's the preliminary design has been done. It's been submitted for funding. I'm actually on the committee to review the plans for Region 8, which that's where we are. And I haven't heard anything yet. We haven't had any meetings on reviewing any of the plans. So that's pretty much where we stand right now. Any questions?
Mike, you mentioned the paving schedule. Is that something that we make public at all when it's ready, or?
Well, you're going to get a 284 agreement, which is going to have the list of roads that are going to be paved, and we can actually, we can put it on the, either put it on the website or, make it, it's once I make the determination of what's going to get done and the money that I have allocated for it, then, we can certainly make it public.
Thank you.
Now, the last thing Mike spoke about was on Cobb Road. He was talking about the culvert. We've been waiting probably a good 2 years. We made application for a grant about 2 years ago. It was denied. We put the money aside here in the town ourselves to get it done. After we put that money aside, the opportunity came, which Mike is now saying is out there. Now we're still waiting here on a second application. So whether it's funded by a grant or not, it will be done. I told people what happened this year. I learned in politics, never put a date on anything. Like, he's not going to say what date a road's going to get done this year, but it's going to get done, but not waiting, because, you're supposed to be here in January. So with Cobb Road, we made an application to the DEC. We've hired a consultant to help us obtain the easements, because if we get the grant, it's required we have the consultant obtain those easements. I mean, I'm going to assist by going, door to door to the 4 homes. We've got to get a total of 7 easements. 3 of them are temporary, 4 permanent. The temporary ones are under construction, and the permanent ones, for repair in the future if something goes wrong with the culvert. So, no idea when we're going to hear about that.
No, and the reason why we resubmitted the application for this is because they've actually they upped the amount of money that the state and federal government is allocating for bridges and culverts. and they've actually dedicated a dollar amount for Region 8. So, you know, that's why they've actually broken it down into regions, and they allocated money for the different regions, and then now they have review panels, you know, so there's not somebody from Buffalo reviewing a project that's happening down here. So now we have a group of people from this area that are going to be reviewing the applications. So hopefully, you know, we can move that forward.
Kind of roughly, Mike, how big is a region, or how many are there in the state? Or-
There's 9 regions in the state.
Okay.
So it's, you know, they have
Pretty
broken
big
up into, yeah, they have broken up into 9 regions, so it's, you know, we have a pretty substantial area here in Westchester, Putnam, Dutchess County that falls under Region 8.
Okay.
Mike,
All right.
I have one quick question. I think Kathy may have mentioned you guys were gonna do some work at Volunteer Park, I think. Is that you guys that are doing that? Is that happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we're doing, we're actually gonna be paving the handball court and the parking lot at Castle Park on Pump House. And then we've been, you know, talking about building batting cages or a bullpen at Volunteer Park and some other, you know, we're going to be doing some other work up there.
There's some like drainage stuff, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, drainage and grading.
yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah,
Excellent.
great, regrading the parking lot. And I'm just going to speak to Kathy about continuing the paving up the hill a little bit further to try to stop the gravel, you know, because we're getting a lot of gravel that's coming out into the road. So, and, you know, the water running down there, so we're going to try to clean that area up and improve that entrance going in there. So hopefully we can, you know, slow down some of that.
Excellent.
Now, we sent out for RFP for Scalpino Park, Stimmer Road, which is Volunteer Park. For dugouts, that's going to be starting, I guess, next week. We have a lot of improvements. The improvements we discussed last year are happening this spring.
The
The work will start next week, or the?
We're going to start next week.
I was gonna ask the
Yeah,
same thing.
same,
Yeah,
What is it, the work will?
the work will,
Oh,
yeah.
excellent.
Mike just volunteered when I asked him to go pick up some supplies on Monday
Yeah.
and Tuesday. So the Scalpino and Volunteer are going to get the, what do you call them, dugouts? The ones in Scalpino are going to be increased. We're going to, you know, enclose them and make them like more real dugouts. And Volunteer doesn't have any at the present time. The netting's going up, electricity's going up. The only problem we're still having is getting the water there. We've talked to Harold to try to find out. Matter of fact, I got a call today. We're still trying to find out when we're going to get the water there, so we can have the bathrooms.
Yeah, and I know that we actually have the plan for to connect into the sewer plant, which is, you know, that's going to be a sewer pipe that'll come from Volunteer Park, and it'll connect into the sewer line that currently runs across from Ace Endico, and it goes into that driveway where the new housing facility is going to be. So I know that we're going to, you know, Jacobson has got an engineer drawing for that, so we can, we'll be able to order the material and get the sewer line in. Once we get water, then we'll be able to hook the bathrooms up.
Okay. So
Oh,
we,
wasn't one of the other things about getting water up to the other field?
which one?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think you,
Upper Field at Zimmer?
yeah.
Yes, we're doing that
Yvonne-
too.
And he'll do that? That's something
Well, he's
he
gonna
does,
drill,
or-
he's gonna dig the lines
Okay.
for us.
And there's electric up there. There's
It's up
electric-
there and it's gonna go to each of the dugouts. On the left field line, they're gonna put up the scoreboard.
Oh,
So there's, everything that was asked for like a year ago,
yeah,
it's all arranged for this year.
okay.
Except the water is gonna be a problem. But that's
And-
important, but
and-
we're gonna do it.
Thanks, Mike.
All right.
And then, Tony, real quick on the water, is that, how does, that development is fully approved? You know, can they build the whole thing out before they run the water up? Like, at what point do they need to run the water up?
Pretty much right away, because they need water on the site when they're working on it.
And they have to run it all the way up to?
Well, they'll have water, we're gonna use their well for
Yep.
our location, so the well is there.
Oh, the well's up by the field,
No, it's up at where the units are gonna go.
right?
And it's gonna go from the units over to our park.
Yeah, I guess my question is, when does
We
does that
don't know.
pipe get put in before the houses are built?
It could be, yeah.
Okay,
We're just waiting on word from Harold.
okay.
Okay, that was the highway department. Now, In the next, now, I don't have a long time to go. If you want to know by days, I got them down by days, not hours yet, but that comes later on. There's a couple of things that, been outstanding for, a time. We've come up with new projects. So one is the ARPA funding that we received from the county last year. We have ARPA funding we received from the federal government. So I have that on there. So what we're going to be seeing, actually beginning next week, I got a resolution from or IMA, that I have to have a resolution for next week to spend the ARPA money that we received from the county. So that'll be coming up next week. In case, let me update on the ARPA funding. The Cobb Road replacement culvert, we requested $500,000, and we received $500,000. Town hall relocation, we asked for $500, and we're gonna get $500. Town court relocation, we asked for $300, we got the $300. Peach Lake remediation of the outlet, $150,000, which I'm gonna go into great detail in a moment. And Tenet Lake Park refurbishment of the town park, we were given $100,000, and we asked for $100,000. And the digitized historic current records of the town clerk, we asked for $150,000, and we got $42,000. Now, going to the next item, which is Star Ridge Manor Civic Association and Peach Lake Brook. For quite some time, probably the last at least 3 years, these 100-year storms are now coming out like every other month, it seems, and there's a problem. So in Peach Lake, the lake itself is located in Westchester and Putnam County, town of North Salem, town of Southeast. The water comes in from the North Salem side, quite heavily, but it's a lake, and it exits in Southeast. On the Southeast side is where the problem exists. What's happened over time is the phone. Let's see what- I just gave you a couple pictures here to show you what's going on. Okay. Sorry, public, I don't have pictures, but you can see it probably on the website. It'll be there tomorrow. So basically, if you look at page 1, it shows the stream and why the water's not quite flowing out very well. And that's 3,300 feet from the outlet to the culvert itself. And I think the pitch is only like, in the 3,300 feet, it's only a pitch of 1 foot. And over the years, it's just overgrown with silt, weeds, and Brad Schwartz here is sitting here. He, along with his Star Ridge Manor Civic Association, will be coming forward because the county gave that project $150,000. And we've gone out, Brad went out, got actually 5 bids, and we're gonna go out with the lowest bid. It's gonna be under $4,000 to do another, not a study, we've done tons of studies from the outlet to the culvert by our town engineer, because we had to know what we were dealing with. Everyone thinks the flooding is taking place because of the culvert. I'm not an engineer, but I'm telling you, that's not the problem. There's other problems, and those pictures that you're looking at is the real cause of what's happening. Now, the last couple of pictures, which is Exhibit 16, that's the Peach Lake side. Now, the houses on Star Ridge Manor that are along the brook or creek, I don't know what they want to call it. I don't know if they're doing a river, creek, or brook. But if you look at Exhibit 16, the house, the water line is right to the bottom of the house. But they have ball fields down there, they're constantly flooded. They have a canal down there which is overflowed. Exhibit 26, that's where the ball field is. They used to play ball there all the time. And it's constantly backed up with water. So that's why the culvert is somewhat responsible, but the overall is the outlet itself has to be cleaned. Now, we know the $150,000 they were given is not gonna quite cure it. I've been to a couple meetings with the association down, not their association, with Plec and North Salem side. And what the problem is, they don't want to be responsible. They've come to me, they've gone to Warren, you guys got to do something. It's not ours. They have to either form a lake district or a special district in some way. So in the future, this has to be maintained by them. And they pretty much told us that's not happening. So I don't know what's gonna happen in the future. They lucked out, some additional monies were provided to get done what we're getting done, but it's a problem.
Who actually owns where these pictures are?
There's about 8 residences on the left-hand side and 2 on the right-hand side. They own the parcels
And
that
they
connect,
own
they
right to
own
that
it,
water, okay.
and the stream goes through their properties, always has, always will. And the town of Southeast has absolutely nothing to do with any of them.
What would it cost, you think, to totally clean out that 3,300 square feet?
No,
linear
no
feet?
idea. Right now, they're only gonna, not even dredge, they're gonna clean it out. And actually, I would say mowing. It's almost like mowing your lawn, okay? That hasn't been done forever. When they clean it out, now they cut out an area about a year ago, maybe, and it got like overgrown almost overnight because now the sunlight's a bit, and it's just really gone crazy. So it's like mowing your lawn. Mow your lawn, and then you have to re-mow your lawn the following year. So there's no idea how much. Warren Lucas, on his side, he's requested $2.5 million to do a study.
What?
Now, I think $2.5 million should solve the problem, but when you ask for the money, they only give it for certain things, but that's Warren's side, okay? Which Warren Lucas, supervisor down in North Elm. Great guy. Couldn't ask for a better person to work with, but we both have a problem that's not our problem, and they're knocking on our door, so.
Tony,
I'm not-
can there be a stipulation, like I imagine some of this could be, over fertilization, maybe in the properties around the lake, or is there any like stipulations we can put that they have to set up like an HOA or whatever, or?
Well, I'll let Will answer that better than I, because, he's been coaching us all the way along. I mean, they have to create a district. And they have a sewer district down there, which includes everything except for Star Ridge side. And they didn't want Star Ridge in there at the time, because one, they didn't have the problems that the other ones. All around the lake, they had all the problems. The lake was getting, full of weeds, and it was just
It was
nuts.
just there were nutrients that were getting into the lake and that was feeding the weeds and causing some of this problem. But that sewer district was something that took a long time to get through. There's actually 2 sewer districts. There's a North Salem sewer district and there's a Town of Southeast sewer district.
Mhm.
And they have an intermunicipal agreement by which they run the facility that is located in the Town of Southeast, the sewer treatment plant, that is. And that provides sewer treatment for Olive Vales Grove and Peaches Gardens. And I think certain of the commercial properties on 121. And there was some talk at some point in time to try to hook one of the North Salem school districts. into-
School got hooked up.
Did they get hooked up?
Yeah.
Okay, because the plant was designed at a design capacity far in excess of what they were producing. And I don't, whether that was a poor calculation on the part of the engineers that did it, I don't know. But to make a long story short, there's not a simple way to make one district that goes into 2 towns. The only way you can really do it is with state legislation. And years ago, in the 1980s, there was a bill that was passed by my predecessor in the Assembly and then Senator Goodman, not Goodman, Mary Goodhue. And they got the legislation passed, it was signed into law, and they never did anything to implement it. And by the time they got around to getting anxious about it again, which was the next environmental cycle, I guess, the common opinion was that it was that by-town, the concept of creating that by-town, by-county district had gone stale. And there wasn't, we determined at the time the easiest way to deal with it was for each town to create its own district and then have an intermunicipal agreement.
Now, the sewer plant itself, North Salem is responsible for 74%, and the town of Southeast is responsible for 26% of the billing. So it's one of our sewer districts, but North Salem has the greater amount. And unfortunately, they have the greater amount, and we got the sewer plant. There was a lot of controversy about that.
But I was talking more about being responsible for the maintenance of this.
No, no, right now, no one's responsible.
Right.
But if there was any way the sewer district could have included the other storage section,
Right.
then we could use that as the basis for it.
Got it.
But we
So-
can't do
So
that.
the answer is just a no.
No.
Okay.
But they have to apply and get it. There's no way we're involved with this. So when the money came out, it took about, 3, maybe 4 months of negotiations with Putnam County, because we had to verify the fact that they could receive this money and spend it.
Got it.
And what came back from the county attorney, which we're responsible for, we get the money, we spend it. The Star Ridge Manor Civic Association will be the ones to come to us, request the money to do whatever part of it. This town board will approve of it until they spend $150,000.
Okay.
And
They
the
got-
original answer was no to that, right? But then
The original, the end,
that
Wait.
they
Wait,
they
can you wait?
weren't eligible.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to offer to make a few comments. That
We don't.
answers the question.
Okay. Good.
Oh,
I know you can do a better job, and you can come sit here right now if you want.
no. Just a couple of things. Last year, we need environmental permits to clean out the brook. So last year, and we have a 2-phase program. So last year, we received the environmental permits from the DEC to clean out 1,300 feet of the brook from the lake in 1,300 feet. And Peach Lake Environmental Coalition raised over $17,000, and we hired contractors. In 3 days, they cleaned out 650 feet of the brook. So the work is underway, and now with the money from the county, we can continue that. No one really knows how much it's going to cost, because it's required that all the vegetation it's not really mowing. We're actually ripping it out by the roots and everything.
I
So
simplified it, sorry.
right, no, that's okay. But it's and what has been taken out last year has not grown back in yet. So everything that's removed has to be taken out of the brook. You can't leave it in there because it's a wetland. So that's really what adds to the cost. The only other thing I would say is that the Peach Lake Environmental Coalition has formed a committee to address the long-term maintenance, because they realize that things are going to grow back again. So they have to do 2 things. One, address how they're going to, and mostly now questions with no answers, but they have to formulate what the questions are, and question are what is it going to take to do this, and where are they going to get the money. If they can't form a district, they can go to the 5 lake associations and assess them and get contributions. But really, at this point, we don't know how much the maintenance is going to cost. But there is a committee that's been set up to start to address that.
Bradley, do you think the 150,000 will clean the whole thing out one time, or you're not even comfortable with that yet? Or
Well, it's what we have, and it's really it's really kind of so the plan going forward, just very quickly, is, and this will come to you in the coming weeks, is to hire an environmental consultant for a reasonable cost to go in there hopefully in May to do a survey to see what kind of plants there are, and silt and the width of the channel and the depth, et cetera. And then I would anticipate in the June timeframe, we would write a request for proposal, send that out, and get bids in to actually clean out the brook based on the findings of the study. And that's basically kind of the rough plan going forward.
one more question, if you don't mind. I know there's some debate over how important the Cobb Road culvert is to this, but do you think if with the culvert fixed that this might just flow better and slow down vegetation, or?
No, because
Okay.
the basic problem is the water's just not even getting to the culvert. It's just so clogged up with weeds that the water isn't flowing.
Well, I meant, once it's cleaned, do you think if it's flowing better, it'll slow down the vegetation from coming back? That's what I was just wondering.
Oh. Perhaps. I'm not, that's why we're having the environmental
Right,
consultant to
yeah.
answer those questions. I don't want to speculate, but those are the kind, and that person, after the study is done, they will issue a report, which will, the town board will get, and that person is willing to come to a town board meeting and give a presentation to answer all these questions.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, if it wasn't for Brad, they wouldn't be 1/100th of where they are now. He spent a lot of time, And he is truly not affected by it whatsoever. He's a long way from the lake, he's a long way from the brook, and he's put a lot of time and effort, and they owe you a debt of gratitude for getting as far as they did. It was his letter that when the county originally said no because of, different regulations by the controller's office, whatever, they had to do a lot of research, and they came back and saying yes. Now, what they did without prevailing wage, which they were allowed to, but once our monies, and one of the things required by the county, that we're involved because we're the flow through, they have to do everything by prevailing wage. So that shoots up the cost probably by a third. I think prevailing wage was meant for good, but it did no good, as far as I'm concerned. You pay a lot more to get things done. So,
You must be the popular guy in the neighborhood.
I don't think half of them even know what he's doing, but, and Scott Zareski, is that his name? Those two have brought it to, I got to speak to them, they understood, because when I went to the meeting, they did not want to hear it. Like, hey, you're the government, you fix it. Oh, we can't fix it. So, thanks for getting as far as I did, and next month, we're gonna have the IMA, which I just got 2 days ago, and the money has to be spent before 2026, and that's for all the monies, including the ARPA money.
The IMA is between the Civic Association and us, or what's the IMA?
Well, the IMA is between the county and ourselves,
The county and us.
okay? Because they've got the money and they're gonna give it to us. So I'll have to put forward a resolution to spend X number of dollars. Brad's already went out, like I said, he got 5 bids, 4 came back with a number. They'll be making a recommendation which one to hire, we will hire them, we will pay them. Once we pay, we give the bill to the county, they reimburse us.
Okay.
We're not involved, supposedly. Okay. Number 4, 190 Route 22, request for a zone change from GC to GC2. Mr. Noon, are you here? Okay, now on your backup, there you see that little map I made up, that's where his location is, and he submitted this for discussion. Would you give us here?
Yes,
Okay, that's in our package this evening.
perfect. Hi, my name's John. This is Karen.
I'm Karen Grass.
John Newell. We've owned 190, 192 for just under 3 years, just about 3 years. I'm sure you guys know, if you guys have been driving by it, we've cleaned it up quite a bit. When we first bought it, right before that, there was a motorcycle gang that was in there 10 years, for the prior 10 years before we bought it. The place was overgrown. We've cleaned it up quite a bit. We're very grateful we have one tenant in there, but even having one tenant in there, unfortunately, it's still not paying the bills. The reason we're here today is we wanted to change the right side building from GC to GC2, or the property, I should say, from GC to GC2. With doing that, that'll give us the availability to rent out the right side building as an apartment. As office space, nobody showed any interest. Up till somewhere in the 80s, that place was actually residential. Somewhere in the 80s, they changed the zoning on Route 22 there to GC. I don't remember what it was before. Do you remember what it was before? Maybe R60?
It was residential.
Residential,
Yeah, it was
okay.
residential.
Yeah, so it's not unheard of for the neighborhood. I mean, right next door, we have La Patrona Bar that has an apartment upstairs, a legal apartment. Right down the road, we have a body...
Legal or illegal?
Illegal.
Legal.
Legal apartment. Right down the road, we have a body shop that has, on the bottom, 2-car body shop, and right up the road on the same property, there's a house. And further down the road from that is this old Somers Electric, which is downstairs commercial and upstairs residential. So-
Legal residential?
All
Legal.
of them legal.
All legal.
Any illegal ones that you
No.
know?
No, none of them illegal.
Tell him after.
His
Yeah,
ears perk up with illegal.
yeah.
The one-story concrete building is fully rented, and it's the smaller building you're looking to rent as an
Yes.
apartment?
Yes.
Correct. The one to the left is a warehouse.
Yep.
Type, that's what it looks like. And the
That-
one to the right is, it was a house. It was
Yep.
built as a house, and we have some pictures for the inside too, because it has, and right now we're just storing our stuff in there. It has a full kitchen, it has a stove, and it did on the original plans, when it was originally built by the Butlers, because they had the furniture making, in the warehouse, and Rhett Butler, who owned the furniture business with his dad before his dad passed, Rhett used to live there. And then it became a showroom, so they wanted to make it commercial. I think Rhett still lived there, but that's beside the point. So it once was, and the property is 2 acres, and the back acre is still residential. So just the first acre of the 2 acres of the property is GC at the moment.
Yes.
So the back hill, I mean, the driveway would be incredibly steep, and we don't plan to do anything with the back acre, but it is considered residential.
Now, they did go to the planning board. The planning board, of course, sent them up here because the change of the zone falls within the purview of the town board.
Yeah, and we made paint changes with the planning board. They were completely supportive of everything. We moved some gates that were in there. We put a gate between the buildings for security reasons. They were really supportive with everything that, you know, we did with, you know, helping us improve the property.
Did they send us a recommendation or?
No,
referral?
no, they have to come
Okay.
here first.
Okay.
Then, Will, what do we do from there? What do we do?
No,
Vote on the change and then send it back to them, or how?
no, you would now refer it
Back?
to the planning board for a report and recommendation.
Is this,
Yeah,
Does GC2 in any way, is there?
so it allows
See,
an
what we have to do
auxiliary,
is we have to avoid what is known as spot zoning.
yes.
And if we're just taking this one piece of property and designated GC2, it could conceivably be spot zoning unless there's a GC2 zone somewhere adjacent.
So so no, there's not. However, the only 3 commercials properties south of us, all of them are already mixed use, which would
Yeah.
fall under the GC2. So they're all already grandfathered in and falling under what would categorize it as GC2.
So they're
Well,
currently
that's
GC,
not really
So they're
correct.
currently GC,
and they have a
acting,
pre-existing
they have a
non-conforming.
Yeah.
And those
pre-existing
properties are, their
non-conforming.
uses are grandfathered, but the zoning is not GC2.
Yes.
Correct.
So what the town board would probably, should ask the planning board to look at the entire sector to determine whether they should all be rezoned to GC2 from GC, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So, which would, as a result, legalize what is being used to the south, and as well as give these folks, their property, the opportunity to do the same.
Which would
That's
make,
the way I'd approach it.
yeah, I would make logical sense. The only other person in that zone is the building north of us, which is the Lawton Avenue building, it's the brand-new building, and we already spoke with him, and he thinks that would be a great idea for him as well. So he certainly wouldn't argue that,
He's our only other neighbor
He's-
besides
yeah.
J-Port.
besides J4,
Yeah.
yeah. And
Did they
I-
rent out
I don't know
upstairs?
if J4 has a legal residence
I
upstairs or
don't
not.
know. No, that I don't know.
I don't know.
But
If
they're
you-
doing it,
We'll-
since they
we'll
bought the
find
building,
out.
they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
Yeah, since they bought the building, they're doing a great job fixing it up.
Yeah, they recently purchased it in the last year, and they've been renovating it,
Yeah.
cleaning it up.
It looks really nice.
Quite a bit.
J4, so they were the only neighbor that we hadn't spoken to, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess what the town board will do, based on Will's comment, we'll have to send a letter down to the planning board, the town planner, and ask them to look at that change in zone GC to GC2.
Okay.
Great,
And we'll keep you informed of where it goes. I got your email, and we'll keep you informed.
Sounds great. Thank you, guys.
thank you.
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you for coming. Okay, I make a motion to go into the regular portion of the meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Waive the reading of the correspondence.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approve of the voucher list, $1,697,288.92. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Waive the reading of the budget transfers.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Setting of the meeting dates. All meetings be held at 1360 Route 22, Brewster, New York, at 7 PM unless otherwise noted. Thursday, April 13, 2023, and Thursday, April 27, 2023. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
You got a lot of paper in front of you guys.
Yes, we did.
Okay. Resolution number 5. Highway contract bid awards, asphalt paving services, equipment rental, and materials. Now therefore be resolved, and Chemung Supply, can I just, do I have to read off each one, or just do it as, just identify the ones that won the bids?
Just identify the ones that bid.
Okay.
that won the bids.
Chemung Supply got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them. Clove Excavators, got 1, 2, 3 of them. Kecht, KECT Construction, got 2. And Peckham Materials got 2. And be further resolved that new contracts shall be take effect upon the completion dates of the current contracts. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 6, resolution, highway equipment purchase, a plow truck. Now therefore be resolved that the town highway superintendent is authorized to expend an amount not to exceed $300,000, and be further resolved that the Southeast Superintendent of Highways requires any additional funds above the amount allotted, he will need further authorization by the town board to make such expenditure, and be further resolved that this resolution will take effect immediately. Now, as you can see, it takes over 350 days to 600 days to get these vehicles. So we're ordering now for the not too distant future, but a long ways away. Mike would like it quicker, but that ain't happening. So move for discussion. Is there a second?
Second.
So move for discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Number 7. Resolution, purchase highway equipment. Now therefore be resolved that the town highway superintendent is authorized to expend an amount not to exceed $100,000, and be further resolved that the Southeast Superintendent of Highways requires any additional funds above the amount allotted, he will need further authorization by the town board to make such expenditure. Resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. I'll
Second.
move. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Now, number 9. Nope, number 8. Gotta go back. We want this tape correctly, we better get to number 8. Okay. It's a videographer personal professional service contract. Now therefore be resolved that the town board awards a videographer personal service contract to Euro Video Productions consistent with terms identified in the proposal award for a period of 3 years commencing April 1, 2023 and expiring on March 31, 2026, with 2 one-year options for renewal April 1, 2026 to March 31st, 2027, and April 1, 2027 to March 31st, 2028, and be further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. So move for discussion.
Second. Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 9. We have done this previously, evidently, when it was sent to Albany, it got lost in the mail. So it's the local law number 4 of 2023, amend Town Code, Chapter 138, Article 7, signs. Now therefore be resolved that the town board of the town of Southeast hereby adopts local law number 4 of 2023 pursuant to municipal home rule law amending 138, Chapter 138 of the Town Code zoning, Article 12, signs, Section 138-75, C2, as the same regulates temporary signs within the town of Southeast. And be further resolved that the town clerk be and is hereby authorized and directed to enter said local law in the minutes of this meeting and give due notice of the adoption of said local law by filing such with the Secretary of State of New York within time required by law. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
1 no. Number 10, resolution, water and sewer special use districts policy. Now therefore be resolved that the town board hereby adopts and revised water and sewer special use districts policy in form and substance as annexed hereto. And be further resolved that the town of Southeast water and sewer special district use policy will take effect immediately. Basically what changed in this year, we reduced 2 of the fines where I thought a bit too steep. We reduced from like 150 to 100, and one was reduced from, I think was 200 to 150. And at the very end, the special districts coordinator name had to be changed, and that's what was done on that. Was there a second on this?
No.
Yes?
No.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 11, revised 2000 special districts water and sewer rates. I do want to thank our special districts individuals, the Muni and who's the other one?
Delaware.
Delaware Engineering, for working on this. We were given a short notice. They inherited a budget that, after it was put out and reviewed, there was some nuances and difficulties with it. Bottom line is they have been assigned now by us at our meeting previously that they will work on these rates, and when we get ready for the approvals for 2024 budget, they will be reviewed. They're going over many aspects of it. They're checking into how much a bill may be, why was it so much, why was it changed, where did the numbers come from. This was all put in many, many years ago, and just carry forward, and until this year, it really didn't surface that there's some issues with it, and they're going to be corrected. So now therefore be resolved that the new special district administrators shall conduct a full audit and submit a full report to the town in time for the town's 2024 budgetary review, and be further resolved that the revised water and sewer rates as identified below shall be in effect for all 4 quarters of the calendar year of 2023, and be further resolved that the town and southeast water and sewer special use district rates shall take effect immediately, which will be the first quarter, and they did those readings today. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion.
So all rates are the same as
No.
what they were, and
they've
three lowered, right?
Yes. I'm not gonna say exact, I don't know the exact numbers.
Okay.
Whatever we had the meeting last month, we identified the amounts. All the amounts that were identified at that meeting is what is taking effect. Does that help?
Yeah, I thought it was 3 that lowered. I just
It
wanted,
may-
because it doesn't have the old and the new on here.
No, they don't,
No,
but this,
fine,
that's,
okay.
this is what we're approving, but yes, whatever we had done at that meeting is now here in black and white. I didn't know I was gonna ask that.
No, it's fine.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Resolution, accept Birch Hill 19495 BILEC grant. These new group of individuals running our special districts have obtained some substantial grants. The first one is for, what did I say, Birch Hill? Let me make sure this is the right one.
Number 12.
Huh?
Number 12.
Yeah, why did I do that? Hold on. I'm reading the wrong
You
one.
got numbers wrong?
Yeah, because I said, there's not. Okay, so Birch Hill has been awarded $840,000 as a grant from the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund. So now therefore be resolved, that the supervisor hereby authorized to make and file any and all letters of intent, application, agreements, or other documents with New York State Department of Health for the purpose of accessing $840,000 in grant funds to be used in connection with water quality improvements to be made at the Birch Hill Hillcrest Water District necessitated by the identification of certain emerging contaminants in drinking water supply, and be further resolved that any and all actions heretofore taken in regard are hereby ratified and confirmed non pro tum. I just have a question here.
There's a typographical.
Yeah,
it
the
says
Hillcrest
it
Water
should
does
say
not
Highview.
belong there.
It should say Highview.
Huh?
It should say Hillcrest, it should say Birch Hill Highview. Like the caption.
I think the district is just considered Hillcrest, I mean,
That-
is both?
When we was going through the process, it's because we added those extra 8
Okay.
properties.
Okay, so Highview Water District?
So it's Birch Hill, Highview Water
Yeah.
District. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't catch that earlier. Okay, so I'm gonna ask the seconder to make the amendment with me that we change the word Hillcrest to Highview. Who was the seconder?
No one yet.
Oh,
I'll
who's,
second.
Nobody
someone
had
second?
seconded, so.
Yeah.
And you're second?
I'll second.
Okay. Okay. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It was very, very, very fortunate. I mean, our meeting was 2 weeks ago with the POFAs and POFS, that's some contaminant in the drinking water. The Birch Hill is the smallest district in the town of Southeast. It used to be 18 homes. It's now 24 because they found 6 homes that were not identified with the Department of Health. And 24 homes making a big investment, and $840,000 is going to go a long, long way for that. Number 13, accept Star Ridge 19496 BILEC grant. Now therefore be resolved that the supervisor hereby authorized to make and file any and all letters of intent, application, agreements, or other documents with New York State Department of Health for the purpose of accessing $1.4 million in grant funds to be used in connection with water quality improvements to be made at the Star Ridge Manor Water District necessitated by the identification of certain emerging contaminants in drinking water supply, and be further resolved that any and all actions hereto taken in regard are hereby ratified and confirmed non pro tem.
Second.
Okay, quick discussion. Again, 2 weeks ago, this would have been really, really good news. It's even better news tonight because it's $1.4 million.
Mr. Schwartz, you're 2 for 2.
Okay. Discussion? Who seconds?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, number 14, resolution, military tribute banner program. Now therefore be resolved that to implement the Southeast Military Tribute Banner Program, the town will submit permit applications to New York State DOT and Putnam County Highway Department to install signs on poles within their rights of way. Submit permit applications to New York State Electric and Gas to hang military tribute signs from New York State Electric and Gas utility poles. Provide the necessary certificate of insurance for military tribute banner program. Purchase the pole brackets for the military tribute banner program, and cause the highway department to install military tribute banners on poles approved by New York State Electric and Gas with brackets and banners appropriately hung and attached on the poles, and be further resolved that any other matters pertaining to the operation and maintenance of the program will be overseen and maintained by volunteers of the program, and be further resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately, and the banner program will officially commence once all the necessary permits are in place. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Can I say
I just wanted
a
to
few words?
quickly thank Eric for taking the lead on this and pushing it through.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah, I was gonna just say thank you, Tony, for all your preliminary work on this and letting me move it forward. For people that don't know what we're talking about, I'm sure you've seen in other towns where we hang the, veterans banners on poles and stuff, so we're gonna be doing that here. There's a Facebook page. If you want to search for Southeast Military Tribute Banners, you'll find some information, and we'll have a link on the town website in the next couple of days, so that's
Okay.
it.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Well done.
Okay. Number 15, resolution, injection to Governor Hochul's New York Housing Compact proposal. I think changes have changed a lot since we've had this put together. I guess we got this from Somers pretty much and updated for ourselves, Eric?
I don't know how much will change, but yeah,
Yeah,
that's
any-
how it started,
Okay.
yep.
Now therefore be resolved that the town of Southeast implores the New York State Legislature to reject Hochul plan and remove the so-called Housing Compact proposal, the FY 2023/2024 budget and future budgets, and engage local governments in dialogue in an effort to address common goals, and be further resolved that all bills of this type be removed from the budget as Article 7 bill, follow the regular legislative process to produce better legislation, and be further resolved that New York State environmental laws, including SECRA, and the municipality's home rule of zoning as defined in the New York State Constitution and general municipal law, should not be limited by any legislation unless the legislation is truly of statewide concern, and be further resolved that the town of Southeast strongly opposes the Hochul plan and Governor's Housing Compact, and urges the New York State Legislature to preserve and protect municipal home rule and zoning law and local zoning powers in all instances. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, that's weird. Time out. Wait, what happened?
That's just the first page of it.
Yeah. There's so many pages, I'm getting confused. Okay, number 16, resolution, Wellington 2 Development 400-408, Route 22, release of erosion and sediment control bond, establishment of landscape maintenance bond. Now therefore be resolved that the bond amount shall be modified and established for the project set forth below. Project name, Wellington 2 Development, bond amount, erosion and sediment control, $9,600, reduced to 0. Be it further resolved that prior to the release of the erosion and sediment control bond, applicant shall provide and post with the town clerk a landscape maintenance bond in the amount of $1,000 for a period of 2 years. And be further resolved that a copy of this resolution shall be transmitted by the town clerk to the planning board secretary and building inspector forthwith.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, We were on the phone doing a lot of negotiating today. So, in your packet right now, you have a number 17. Now, I put an A on it because I don't want to get them confused. So if you have two number 17s in front of you, so is it 1, 2?
So A is the one that
Wait,
will.
yeah, let me get them passed out, so we have them in front of us, so we all get, okay.
Do you need?
It's 1 and 2.
Oh, wait a second, no.
I have,
You know what?
I have
Yeah,
an extra one.
no, you should have a lot more than one.
17A.
Yeah. Wait, I should have made so many,
Well-
Here, you can give it to me tomorrow.
okay. Because the other one's
Oh.
Tony,
18.
you have two 17As.
And I don't have one yet.
Okay, here's one for you,
Okay.
one for,
Yeah,
I
it's
have
got
Edwin's
one.
going?
John's not
Okay.
here, so
See how confusing it
Michelle
is? We
can
haven't even
have
started yet.
that one, or I
You
can
gotta
give you
hand
mine
these down and
afterwards.
have them pass it down, like at school.
Oh, now you want me to take 17s? No. Okay, so look, you have a 17 in your package. 17A is the one that we're
That we're
approving this evening.
Voting on.
So there's no confusion. Only passing them out was the confusion. Okay, here we go. 17A, proposed conveyance of 67 of 1 Main Street, determination of the New York State Environmental Review Act, SECRA. Now therefore be resolved that the town board as lead agency for the purpose of SECRA review the proposed conveyance of 2 town-owned properties known generally as 1 and 67 Main Street to I Park Brewster, and in conjunction with the town's planning consultants, has reviewed the full environmental assessment form parts 1, 2, and 3, has designated the proposed conveyance of the town-owned properties as an unlisted action pursuant to SECRA, and provided any agreement to convey the town-owned properties includes the following representations. Buyer acknowledges that the property, both 1 Main Street and 67 Main Street, is included in New York State and National Registries of Historic Places. 1 Main Street having registration number 90 NR 02384, and 67 Main Street having registration number 90 NR 02383. Furthermore, according to that certain resolution of the Planning Board of the Village of Brewster dated March 15, 2022, for Brewster Crossing, Phase 1 site plan, as renewed, amended, modified, and or supplemented site plan approval. Buyers engaged with New York State Historic Preservation Office, SHPO, SHPO, regarding the development of Phase 1, which includes the property. In recognition of such listing, buyers shall make all reasonable efforts to protect and maintain the property's historic exterior facade during planning and approval process for the property's reuse, redevelopment, adaptation, and or substantial alteration in accordance with the letter of resolution by the buyer, between the buyer and SHPO. The requirements of such listing on said historic registries and all applicable law, the representation and warranty shall survive the closing and delivery of the deed contemplated herein. It would further include a covenant that if the project in which the town-owned properties are a part is not commenced within 5 years of the conveyance, title of the town-owned properties would revert to the town of Southeast. The town board finds and determines the proposed conveyance of the town-owned properties will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment for the reasons elaborated in Part 3 of the full environmental impact statement, which is made part of this resolution and is negative declaration pursuant thereto. So move for discussion.
Second.
Discussion, Will, Eric Larka, myself, Ashley Lai, iPark ownerships, worked diligently on getting this in front of us this evening, and I want to thank them for that effort and bringing this forward. It was seconded?
Yes.
Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now, in your package, you have one that's marked 18. Now I'm going to give out one that's marked 18A. So take your 18s, toss them. These here are the ones that are going to go into effect tonight, and it's marked 18A for such reference.
Oops, sorry.
Thank you.
Okay. Now therefore be resolved that the town board finds and determines as follows: that the subject parcels are surplus property of the town of Southeast. 2, that based upon a review of the EAF, there will be no significant impact the environment resulting the anticipated conveyance of the subject parcels and has issued its negative declaration in that regard. 3, that such conveyance in its arm's length transaction with a proposed purchaser paying fair market value for the subject parcel. 4, that it would be in the general public interest to promote the general health, safety, and welfare of the public of the town to consent of the conveyance of the subject parcel, and be further resolved that the supervisor hereby authorized to execute any and all contracts, deeds of conveyance, consents, application, plats, and any and all ancillary documentation as may be approved by the town attorney to facilitate the transfer of subject parcels. And be further resolved that the resolution of authorization is subject to a 30-day permissive referendum period as provided by law. And be further resolved that the town clerk be and is hereby authorized and directed to publish an abstract of this resolution in the town's official paper and post same on an official bulletin board located in Town Hall forthwith. And be resolved that this resolution shall take effect immediately. So move for discussion.
Second.
Again, Will and those involved with getting this to the table tonight and getting it resolved, hopefully, we appreciate your efforts. Any comment further? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Number 18, resolution, sale of surplus one.
No, number 19.
That, yeah, because I forgot the A. Will's having fun with the A. Number 19. Okay, budget. Only into the third month, so things are really good. Now, things are moving on pretty well. The revenues are there where they should be. There's really, at this point in time, not a lot to discuss. So we're in good shape at this point in time. Number 20, anyone have any comment?
I do not.
It's easy so far. Gets tougher as the year goes on. Okay. Number 20, I'm going to make a motion to set a public hearing for a local law to amend Chapter 138 zoning, Attachment 3, Column E9, Thursday, April 13, 2023, at 7 p.m. So move for discussion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Number 21, motion, set public hearing, local law to amend Chapter 138 zoning, Article 1, general provisions, definitions, Article 4, residential districts, adding a new section 138-23 for Thursday, April 13, 2023, at 7 p.m. So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public recognition.
Could you, for the public's benefit, talk a little bit about item number 18A? Who is going to be taking ownership of the property? And is that going to be remaining as a public space or a private space? Or is it up to the developer to do whatever they want with it?
iPark is a company, business that's been working on this for about 3 years with the Village of Worcester. They intend to renovate pretty much from 1 Main Street, which will remain exactly as is, Bob's Diner, to Park Street. All those buildings will be taken down. Then once you get to the opposite side of Park Street, 67 Main Street is the old town hall, that big building. From that town hall going back toward Bob's Diner, that's all going to be taken down. And iPark has a large plan for apartments, shops.
But I think the question, so for 67 Main, for
Yeah,
example.
what happens to 60,
So
who
it-
will own 67 Main Street? A private enterprise or the
So
village?
The
or-
company's actually National Resources, and they're purchasing it as part of their project, and their intent, is to, so we're told, is to refurbish the building, because as you know, right now, it's not ADA compliant. There was a bond
Right.
years ago which failed, and no, it's not really a public building now, it is, but the public doesn't have access to the museum floor in the winter because there's no heat, and upstairs because there's no ADA compliance. So the hope and the intention supposedly is that they will renovate the building, bring it up to codes, and hopefully offer it as a cultural entertainment space for the community, but it will be privately owned. And it is protected to a degree under some historical, it's a historical building, and there's governance around what can happen to it.
Which is SHPO from Albany.
Excuse me?
SHPO, that's the name of it.
State Historic Preservation.
Oh, okay. So if it's privately owned, they'll have to pay real estate taxes on that
Yes.
property? then?
Correct.
Correct.
Same with 1 Main Street.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else?
Evening all, Scott Seaman, Town of Southeast. Just wanted to follow up with the board and give them an update after the propositions were done. Both propositions did pass, and I wanted to personally thank the community for their support. I also wanted to personally thank supervisor, the board, the town clerk's office for allowing to put up informational material from the district so people get educated and make the proper decision on their own. Once again, thank you for your efforts. It's going to be long down the road, and economy, all kinds of supply chain stuff, but that's to be determined. And I'd just like to thank you on their behalf. Like I said, it's good to have great partners as the town. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks, Scott.
Good evening, Supervisor, members of the board. My name's Tom Kelly. I live at 64 Seven Oaks Lane. Neighbor to Brad, they've asked, the community has asked that I help out with regard to the water rates and the water improvements that are going to take place in the Star Ridge Manor Water District. And Supervisor, I wrote to you about the increase in rates. Thank you for acting on that. I did meet with Rod Brown this morning. I had about an hour meeting with him to go through the finances. With regard to the district, he expressed many of the concerns that you had. Going forward, I'll work with him to the extent requested and help break down and cut any red tape, perhaps with the state of New York and the Environmental Facilities Corporation to help move any additional funding towards the district. I'll also make the offer to the extent I can help with other districts in the town. So I just want to acknowledge that and thank you for your help in reviewing the rates. It was quite a shock when we opened up our bills, so it's a little bit better now, but thank you.
Well, the grant's going to help a bunch, and he can help even more, get a sharp pair of scissors for that red tape.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Town board? I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we close tonight's meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all for coming.